Hey, what's up, guys, boys and girls, fellow collectors from all around the world? Ivan said, the French collector is back for yet another video, guys. Are you all excited for the new Scream movie? Because I am. I don't know, man. Neve Campbell is out. But anyway, still, Ghostface is my favorite slasher character. Scream is my favorite slasher. With Halloween, these two, I love them. Anyway, I'm just looking at pictures of this new Scream mask. This is something that I'm excited to see on the big screen, though, because for the first time, we get a major difference in the Ghostface mask, which is the weathered, cracked mask. Trying to find pictures on Google. It really is nice, man. I love it. I love it. Nothing's ever gonna beat the classic white mask, though, especially from the first movie. But I love this weather look. So I don't know, is this new version sold already? I haven't seen it anywhere. So I thought, well, maybe at some point they will make one. For the moment, I thought I'll try to make it myself. Going through my collection of Ghostface masks, I don't have much choice, because if I'm gonna weather one, this one is one of my most prized belongings. This mask here is I think a Scream 2 mask. I've had this since the mid-90s. It still has that vanilla scent, glows in the dark. Probably got this one in 97, 98, something like that. Can't remember for sure. So definitely not using this one. Then I have a couple ultra whites that look a bit like crap, so I'm not gonna use these two. I removed the shroud of this ultra wide and used it on my 25th anniversary. This is a 25th anniversary mask, but the one that came without a shroud, because it was sold with the 25th anniversary robe. So I really love this mask. I'm not using this one. So the only one I have left is this Easter Limited. It's the EU stamp from, let me check the date, manufacturing date, January, March 2015. So I really love this mask. I don't want to weather it, but it's the only one I have at this moment, at this time, that I can weather. So hopefully I'm not gonna fuck this up, guys. I have no clue how I'm gonna do this, to be honest. Whatever, let's do this. Wish me luck. Wish me luck. Jeez. So here we go. I went into this project not confident at all. So I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna focus on what I'm doing and add my comments later on with a voiceover. I've never done this before. I've modded many things, such as statues, action figures, 1/6 scale movie cars. Recently, I spent weeks modding a Ghostbusters Proton Pack, but I've never worked on anything made of silicone, latex, rubber. I had no idea how things would turn out. So the first step here was to draw the lines of the cracks to make it easier later on to sculpt them. Yeah, so when the time came for me to actually start sculpting those cracks, things immediately went sideways. My first idea obviously was to use my loyal Dremel. I've had this thing for so many years now and it still works just fine. But even after using every single drill bit, I don't know, it just didn't look right. I didn't like it. I didn't like it. Plan B. A friend of mine suggested I use a soldering iron and literally use it as a pen to draw those cracks. Like literally melt those cracks into my Ghostface mask. It was definitely easier and quicker than the Dremel, but in the end, I still think it looked like shit. I don't know. I ended up with these little plastic bubbles on each side of the cracks. At this point, I was really in a panic. I'm like, oh my God, what am I doing to my Ghostface mask? So now I had to clean all that mess I just did with my soldering iron. So for this, I started using the Dremel again, and then I ended up using an X-Acto blade. And while I was cleaning the mask, I thought maybe I could use that blade to add a few more cracks. But the blade was too thin. I had to go over every cut over and over again to make them larger. And in the end, it just didn't look good. It seemed nothing would work. All these things, it just looked like it was done on purpose, but it didn't look like, you know, random cracks that appeared over the years on that mask. Now at this point, I'm convinced that I ruined a great looking mask and I want to punch myself in the throat. And all of a sudden I remember a video that I seen on YouTube a few weeks ago of this lady who attempted the same thing on her GhostFace mask. And she added a layer of epoxy on her mask and sculpted those cracks in the epoxy. And I remember thinking, how can this work? Because once the epoxy is hard, how will it stick to a soft material like rubber? But I'm thinking at this point, you know, my mask is as good as garbage. You know, I'm gonna throw it away anyway. So I decided to try it anyways. And sure enough, after a few minutes, the epoxy was hard. It looked great, but as soon as I started handling the mask to keep working on it, it fell off. Anyway, I took that piece and glued it back on the mask with fabric glue. Can you believe this? Well, you can't see it on the video, but I swear inside I was boiling. I was so mad at myself. But failing is learning, so I thought, okay, let's keep this going. So I took a brush and I gave my mask a complete white repaint using acrylic paint, just random strokes. And once that was done, I don't know, I can't explain it. I looked at my mask and I saw it differently, and I thought, well, maybe this is going somewhere after all. Now finally I started feeling a bit more positive about all this, so I proceeded with the weathering using different shadings of black, gray, and brown paint, not even mixing them with water. I just brushed off the excess against a paper towel and gently dabbed the paint all over the mask. When that was done, I used black acrylic paint and gave the mouth, nose, and the edges of the eyes a full black repaint. And then obviously I painted the cracks and gave the whole thing a heavy black wash. Yeah, at last I was having some fun. The problem is I couldn't stop myself anymore now. But yeah, I knew my mask wouldn't look perfect in the end, but considering how desperate I was just a bit earlier, I was happy. It was a relief. I thought it turned out much better than what I thought it would. Still, I thought it didn't look aged and weathered enough. I wanted to add even more of these little cracks, but at the same time, I didn't want to overdo it, especially with the black paint and all. So what I did is I took my Dremel and with the smallest drill bit, I literally carved random cracks into those several layers of white paint that I added earlier, all over the mask. And actually, this turned out really nice. That's actually my favorite part of this entire process right now. Last minute idea, the finishing touch, I decided to add a tiny bit of dried blood as seen on one of the pictures of the trailer. And that's it. My Scream 6 GhostFace mask is done, I guess. I love it. It's not perfect, but I love it. I hope you do as well. Like always, thanks for watching, guys. See you soon in the next video. Yvan Seb, the French Collector, will be back. Peace, guys.